2, felony murder. Count 3, kidnapping. Count 4, criminal attempt to commit rape.
I just asked that he receives the maximum sentence.
Please leave my cameras running, sir.
Not gonna do that.
So you never arrested me, you're just kidnapping me, is that it?
I'll ask Mr. Bueno to tell me why you think it's necessary for me to sign a protective order in this case.
That investigation concluded that there was no such evidence and no such torture, period.
The only thing that I'm out there doing, Your Honor, is I believe we have a corrupt government.
Some cops think they can bury their darkest secrets, but the courtroom? Oh, it has a way of bringing the truth to light. Take this first case, where a murderous cop thought he could escape it all. But guess what? Sweet justice. It's coming for him. Hard. On July 26, 2022, 16-year-old Susana Morales vanished without a trace. But when her body was found, the truth began to unravel. And who was the prime suspect? Officer Miles Bryant. He was dragged into court to face the music for the monstrous crimes he allegedly committed.
State of Georgia versus Miles Bryant. Indictment number 24B-00156-4. Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty. Count 2, felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 3, kidnapping. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Count 4, criminal attempt to commit rape. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. Count 5, false report of a crime. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
But here's the thing. This verdict, it's not the end of Miles' punishment. And honestly, it shouldn't be. Not when you look at the horrific crime he's committed. No, there's more to this story. And justice is far from done.
Mr. Bryant, you now have been convicted of 3 felonies. I want to inform you you have a right to seek post-judgment relief from your felony convictions by either filing a direct appeal to a higher appellate court or to file a motion for a new trial. You have 30 days from the date I sign and file your sentence with the clerk of court to file a motion for new trial to any and all of the felony charges. You also have 4 years from the date of your sentence, from the date your sentence is final, to file a habeas corpus petition on the felonies.
The judge, doing her job, calmly reads Miles his rights, but if you look at his face, there's no guilt, no remorse. Just cold indifference. It's as if he's completely untouched by the horror he's caused.
You've also been convicted of a misdemeanor, and you have 1 year to file a habeas corpus on the misdemeanor of false report of a crime. I'm going to ask the jury to go back to the deliberation room and come back and talk to you, and then I'll be back out for sentencing.
Yes, ma'am.
When the court session resumed, the tension was thick. And Miles' reckoning, it only got worse. The victim's family stepped forward, grief in their eyes, anger in their hearts, and they were ready to speak their truth. What they said, it hit them like a freight train.
The victim's family would like to speak and give an impact statement to the court. I'd first like to call up Ms. Jasmine Perez.
All he ever wanted was justice for what happened to her. So I want to thank her for that. I mean, nothing will ever bring her back to this day. I still hope that I'll see her again.
Susana's mother and sisters, they'd been silent throughout the trial, holding back their pain, their rage. But now, they couldn't stay quiet any longer. The weight of their grief was too much to bear, and they were ready to make their voices heard.
I just ask that he receives the maximum sentence because no family, no mother, no father, no one deserves to go through this. No one deserves to go through what he went through all these years, these 2 years, I'm sorry.
Diciéndome que me la van a mandar en pedazos.
Almost 7 months, receiving calls, receiving messages, receiving pictures, saying that they were going to return her in pieces.
Cada noche yo no puedo dormir sin pensar en ella.
Every night I can't sleep without thinking of her.
This could very well be the final nail in Miles Bryant's coffin. The depth of the pain he's caused this family, it's unbearable. And it becomes crystal clear in this next clip.
Till you found your daughter. And your daughter, Susanna, did not deserve this. And I just hope that after today, you and your family can find some peace. That is what I wish for you. Hopefully, you will receive some peace now.
As a result of the trial and pleas from Susanna's family, ex-Doraville police officer Miles Bryant was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in the murder case of Susana Morales. Even though Bryant was an absolute disgrace to the state of Georgia, these next so-called officers prove that they're no better. In fact, they're just as capable of unspeakable acts. Tyrants hiding behind badges, ready to bring more chaos and pain.
That has endangered my 9 and 11-year-old children.
On August 30th, 2022, Officer Bueno had a run-in with an auditor named Drew. But what started as a simple confrontation, it quickly spiraled out of control. When they came face to face, things took a dark turn.
What's the best way to do this? Can I twist this way?
Yep.
No volunteer requesting a...
Please leave my cameras running, sir. Please leave my cameras running, sir.
Not going to do that.
And could you go read Azari versus Yahia out of the 10th Circuit Court?
Negative.
And also read Fordyce versus Seattle.
Right from the start, the officer was hostile, no surprise there. But what's worse, his attitude only goes downhill from here.
They're trying to hotbox me. So what are you arresting me for? Or am I still detained? Am I detained or arrested? So you're transporting me, so that's kidnapping. So you never arrested me, you're just kidnapping me, is that it? You've never told me I was under arrest.
You'd think having a camera pointed at them would make officers pause, make them rethink their actions. But no, the audacity, the shamelessness, it's all still there, plain as day.
So no Miranda, and no telling me I'm under arrest. There's no trespassing signs. From a public road to a publicly accessible parking area for the public to come to the prison. Just laying it out there.
Okay, so you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and may be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to talk to an attorney and have an attorney appointed with you if you wish. You can choose at any time not to make any statements or answer any questions.
If you think the officer's blatant disregard for this man's rights ends here, think again. It gets worse. Much worse.
Trespassing and obstructing.
How did I obstruct? What physical action did I take to obstruct? Please describe it.
I think you're a little confused on how this may work, and that's fine.
I'm not confused. Obstruction is a physical action, sir. I just want to know what...
Probable cause complaint, okay?
I just want to know what I did to obstruct.
That's not how it works. Okay.
Well, you got to write it down. You might as well just tell me now. I mean, you're going to do what you got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. I'd rather just educate everybody instead of litigate everybody.
Up to this point, the officer at least had the decency to answer Drew's questions. But that little courtesy, it's about to vanish too.
And you have a body camera?
All right, sir, step on out, please. Okay, sit down right here. Let's put your feet apart. Thank you.
A full 30 minutes of hotboxing and outright kidnapping, caught on camera. And yet, somehow our so-called law enforcement will likely find a way to justify this blatant abuse of power. Unbelievable, isn't it?
All right, the next case is case number 24, PO for Protective Order 23, Jason Jeffrey Bueno versus Drew Rebar. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is a request for a protective order, as I said. I also received from Mr. Rebar a responsive pleading, and we made sure a copy got to Mr. Bueno, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. With respect to this hearing, I'll hear from both parties.
As this case unfolds, we'll get a front row seat to Officer Bueno's true colors. Watch as he twists the narrative, painting himself as the victim in court. The audacity is almost unbearable.
You both solemnly swear that the testimony today will be the truth, and so help you God. This is a request for a restraining order by Mr. Bueno, so I'm going to ask you first. Can I call you Mr. Bueno or Officer Bueno?
Whatever you prefer, sir.
Okay. I'll ask Mr. Bueno to tell me why you think it's necessary for me to sign a protective order in this case.
Thank you, sir.
The trial kicks off, and so do Officer Bueno's endless lies. It's a spectacle of deceit from the very start.
On August 30th of 2022, I responded to a call for service at the Northern Nevada Correctional Center at the request of the warden and staff. During the course of that investigation, Mr. Rebar was arrested. That arrest was reviewed for probable cause by Justice Court judges, and Mr. Rebar pled no contest on 6/20 of 23. The deal being for Mr. Rebar to not enter the prison complex for a period of 6 months.
Even standing before a judge, before justice itself, this cop doesn't stop spewing his lies. And if you think this is the worst of it, you're in for a shock.
He made a complaint to the sheriff's office that he was tortured during this arrest. That investigation concluded that there was no such evidence and no such torture, period. And Mr. Rebar was adequately notified of that. Since the time that the charges were dismissed, Mr. Rebar has continued to fabricate that this was a false arrest. The court is very well aware of the no contest pleadings and how that works, and has deliberately lied and defamed and edited videos that he has posted.
Lying and defamation? Absolutely. We all saw the footage. Clear as day. This officer mistreating the man. Now he's twisting the truth, desperately trying to justify his actions and save his own skin.
The videos that he has continued to post, he's cut off deliberate things that would go against the narrative that he's trying to prove, i.e. body camera footage from myself that showed all the air conditioning fully on and in the low setting. He has cut those off, and he deliberately distorts the facts in order to drum up financial and social support for himself and his cause. Since that time, false statements that he continues to make, I don't care about his personal vile comments towards myself, but this has turned into a frenzy.
Do you know what's become an absolute frenzy? The rampant mistreatment of citizens by cops across America. It's disgraceful, shocking even. And this cop, he's the perfect example with the way he treated Drew. Unacceptable.
That this situation, deliberately orchestrated by Mr. Rebar, has gone beyond any official capacity that I have as a deputy sheriff, and has clearly threatened my family. And I'm simply asking the court to help protect my family.
Thank you, Mr. Bueno. Mr. Rebar, your comments. Why don't you think I should issue this restraining order?
My actions don't meet the black and the white of the statutes. My actions are protected under Article 1, Section 9 of the Nevada Constitution. My actions are protected under the First Amendment.
Let's hope the judge actually understands the law better than this officer, because as Drew finally gets his chance to speak, the truth is about to come out.
There have been several accusations made against me here that are just in fact untruthful. The only thing that I'm out there doing, Your Honor, is I believe we have a corrupt government. I'm a businessman, as my response says. I didn't want to get off my butt and stop running my business. I'm just out there now watching our government, like our government's watched my business for the last 20 years or so, and they come in every couple of years with their men, with their badges, and with their guns. And they go through my papers, and they examine my business. And
Officer Bueno needs to be held accountable. Immediately. The fact that cops like him are allowed to roam the streets, abusing their power, that's the real problem in America today.
And
I understand this is a unique slapback that I've done here, that it's not generally done this way. But again, as I spoke to my attorney, Rich Salvatore, yesterday, he goes, I've done a lot of these, and it meets the definitions.
Thank you, Mr. Rebar, and I'll let you rebut if you want to.
Yes, sir. It's very clear that Mr. Rebar has a case, a personal vendetta that he is out. His YouTube page is full of verbal altercations with anybody that he can strike up.
Bueno's restraining order was denied, but the auditor's victory came at a hefty price. A reminder of just how broken our justice system is, especially when it comes to protecting against frivolous lawsuits. And with that, these cases come to a close. So what's your take? Did these corrupt cops get what they deserved in that courtroom? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we've got lined up next.